The sedition is a relevant aspect to our times for multiple reasons. Take for instance the constitutional aspiration. The preambular promise of our constitution is justice, fraternity, unity and integrity of India. Those who divide India on caste lines, communal lines, on regional lines have to be booked. Then I would like to remind you what Dr. Ambedkar said in his famous speech titled Grammar of Anarchy in 1949 when the constitution was drafted. The draft was completed and the Constituent Assembly was awaiting its formal acceptance. Dr. Ambedkar made this famous speech of Grammar of Anarchy in which he said that once we are a free nation today, once we have adopted the constitution, we must adopt the constitutional mechanism to register our protests. He was not against protests, but all that he said was our protests must be democratic, should be constitutional in nature. The debate on sedition law has resurfaced in the present times. People argue that the law on sedition needs to be scrapped. A number of reasons are attributed. The first reason is what they say as the colonial legacy behind the sedition law. People argue that because sedition has its origin in the colonial era, it must be discarded in the post-independent era. As an independent liberal democracy, law of sedition has no place in our country. Let's analyze this logic. Do we discard railways, postal service, police, courts, our legal regime just because it is colonial in origin? No. We must evaluate the relative merit in everything and we must absorb whatever is still relevant to our times. Now, the allied argument that is advanced in this regard is, look, Bal Gangadhar Tilak was arrested under sedition law, Mahatma Gandhi was arrested. Now, why do we still retain this law in the present times? Today, look at the people who are being booked under the sedition laws. It is these urban Naxals, the divisive elements, the one who shouted Pakistan Zindabad, Amulya Leone is booked under this law. Sharjil Imam, who said India's chicken neck must be dissected and every attempt must be made to divide India and to ensure that the army does not enter northeast and you should cut off the northeast from the mainstream. That's what he argued. Now you are likening Mahatma Gandhi and Bal Gangadhar Tilak with these terrorist elements. So therefore, the entire argument is flawed. The sedition is a relevant aspect to our times for multiple reasons. Take for instance the constitutional aspiration. The preambular promise of our constitution is justice, fraternity, unity and integrity of India. Those who divide India on caste lines, communal lines, on regional lines have to be booked under a law. Because even Article 19, which guarantees the right to speech, also is qualified with reasonable restrictions. So you invariably have to have a law to restrict the freedom of speech with reasonable restrictions imposed. So you cannot do away with the law of sedition. In case you want to shun this law, you must come out with another law that imposes reasonable restriction on our constitutional guarantees. So this becomes a duplicate exercise to discard an existing law and then bring about another law, just for the heck of it. Then I would like to remind you what Dr. Ambedkar said in his famous speech titled Grammar of Anarchy in 1949 when the constitution was drafted. The draft was completed and the Constituent Assembly was awaiting its formal acceptance. Dr. Ambedkar made this famous speech of Grammar of Anarchy in which he said that once we are a free nation today, once we have adopted the constitution, we must adopt the constitutional mechanism to register our protests. He was not against protests, but all that he said was our protests must be democratic, should be constitutional in nature. In the same breath, he inquires an important aspect. He says, look, our freedom today is a result of our struggle, a violent struggle against the British. We have laid down our lives. How can we then say that violence is bad? how can we say that resistance is bad? Are we not saying Bhagat Singh was wrong, Netaji was wrong, Bal Gangadhar Tilak was wrong? When we say that our means should be constitutional, it should be peaceful, then are we not slighting the efforts of our great national heroes? Dr. Ambedkar says, no, not at all. The British regime had no legitimacy to be in India. They were invaders, they were foreign rulers. They attacked India, conquered us and ruled as imperialist rulers. So if you are adopting a violent means to overthrow them, that is no sedition. That is a legitimate means. It is your land that you are regaining back. So therefore, in those times, the violence had a rationale. It had a legal base, a rational basis, if not a legal basis. But today, when we are free, when we have adopted the constitution, we the people have given ourselves the constitution, we have to adopt the constitutional means to register our protest. Therefore, a legitimately established, legally established regime cannot be overthrown, or you cannot incite violence against a government established under law, and therefore sedition in our times is relevant and completely justified. Now take for instance Article 17, which declares that untouchability is a punishable offence under the Constitution. Now merely by declaring it to be a punishable offence, can you punish anyone? Our Constitution is no criminal code, so you can't use the Constitution to punish someone. So you need a penal law to punish those who practice untouchability. In the same way, when you impose reasonable restrictions under Article 19 and qualify the rights, fundamental rights that are guaranteed, you have to have a legal mechanism to translate that restriction in a legal form. So therefore you need a law. Suppose somebody exercises his right to speech to incite violence against the state. He creates a communal disturbance, or he creates a disaffection towards the state. You need a law to tackle that situation. Constitution cannot tackle that. Constitutional aspiration cannot be translated unless you have a substantive law to tackle it. So therefore, law has to be in place. Now, the other argument is that look, the present regime is mishandling it, is using it against its political dissenters, and more important, number of cases have increased in the present times. You see, in Kudamkulam protest, 30,000 odd people were booked under various laws and were detained, and of them about 9,000 people were booked under the sedition law. So governments have used, misused, overused this law to whatever possible extent, but those governments were legitimately established governments. They had the mandate of law. The present government also has. I am not saying for a moment that there is no misuse at all, or any misuse is justified because there is a legitimately elected government. No, not at all. The misuse must be checked, and we have courts today which will take care of that situation. But to say that law itself must be abolished once and for all, lock, stock and barrel, doesn't make sense. So everywhere, see, we are living in a rights-based regime today, no denial, but every right comes with a responsibility, every right comes with a duty. So if I have a right of freedom, if I have a right to speech, I must use it reasonably, and I must exercise within the reasonable restrictions that are imposed under the Constitution. So to impose reasonable restrictions is very much constitutional, very much legal. In the same manner, the restriction of sedition is also logical and legal.